conversation with a coach, and we gave him some information, and he emailed me back and thanked me, of course. But then he said, I would like you to add 4 coaches to the list that I'm referring and that want to watch Basketball Talk Pro. I really appreciated that, and I wish that more coaches would do that. I kind of depend on word of mouth. It's very expensive to get lists. I'm not very good at social media. In fact, I'm not even good at all. And I don't do it. And so I'm dependent a lot on word of mouth. Coaches talking to coaches. We have a lot of that, but we don't have enough because we have a very good attendance record in this Basketball Talk Pro for those people that are on the list or get on YouTube, but it's not big enough. You know, there's 300,000 coaches in this country, and there may be 600,000, I don't know, 100,000 coaches worldwide. The idea of this program is to not change you into coaches overnight. I would never say that, but to give you a little insight into things that, 1, I've learned from experience, 2, I've learned from others, which is certainly a area that I use, and what I learned from reading. You know, I read a lot, and I try to get everything I can to relate to basketball. So please, you know, help yourself out, help me out, and help the coaches that come on, that you can help to get. Just tell them the email address and the website address, and if they don't like it, they don't have to, you know, but it gives them a chance to maybe get some help. Well, today, I know that the title probably threw you all off a little bit and wondering what we're talking about. Perception is a mirror, not a fact. But I take this as very important. We're in a day-to-day as coaches relationship with not only 1 or 2 players, but with 12, 13, 14 players. And the perception that you as a coach have and them as players is very important to your success of communicating from a coach to a player or to a team. What it really means is what you perceive, you see, is what you want to see. There's all kinds of examples of this, but we tend to what is inside of us, what is of value to us, or what gives us benefit. That's what we see. And if you just sit back and listen to people, you'll be amazed as you listen to them and watch them, how true that is. They're not basing it on facts. One of the beautiful things about statistical work in basketball, to me, is you work from facts, not from perception. Because perception is what you want to see. And I'll give you some examples. One very easy one that everybody goes through is officials in a game. Now in the NBA, it's almost insane during a game. They don't think, those players don't think they foul, but they think they get fouled. And it's just a constant battle between those officials, how they see it. But tell me if this hasn't happened to you. In the heat of a game, you're very angry at an official. It's a call that they missed, you know you're right. And then after the game, you go back and you look at the film and you see, wow, the official was right. See, you perceived it for your benefit. The reason we have officials, and hopefully they're all honest guys, they don't have a benefit. So their perception of it is accuracy. That's what they're striving for, should strive for. But if you tell me that's never happened to you, I just have to say you haven't coached in many games, because it's happened to me hundreds of times. In fact, I've gotten to the point where I don't even want to question officials, because I have to go back and look at the films and they're usually right. And I'm wrong because I wanted that call to go in my favor, or the team's favor. So that's what I see. If you watch, I think the replays are wonderful things for that reason. You can hardly deny it when you see it, that on film, that was just the right call. Very seldom did I ever find that I was right. They were right most of the time. Well, if you magnify this a little bit into other things, a lot of things, another area, plays. I don't know how many coaches I have told, pretty big name coaches, that I have told that play isn't effective. And yet they keep running it because they like the play. For whatever reason, they may have ran that play when they were a player, or they may have made up this play. So they're going to see it in a certain way. They're going to see it as being very effective. The only way you know is if you keep track of it and you have facts. So perception of something is a mirror of how you feel and what benefit you get. It's very seldom do people change plays because of them seeing it differently. They see it the way they want to see it. The only change that comes about is when facts are given them. And then the wise ones change or adjust or make the play better, help their players make the play better. But that happens just very, very seldom. But here's where it gets kind of nasty. Corrections in practice or corrections in games. It's very easy to be wrong in your correction. And it's very easy for them to be wrong. But here's what happens. You adamantly, aggressively correct a player. And he looks at you like, I was right, I did it right. And that probably just makes you madder. But he might have been right. It gets down to a case, are you wrong or he's wrong? Maybe you're both wrong or maybe you're both right. It is that kind of a situation. You have to be very careful. I have a rule for myself. If I'm not dead sure, at best I can, under the duress of time and no film in a practice, that I'm right, or it's close or relatively right. But I'm very open to players saying to me, you know, if a player looks at me like I did that right, I question him. I say, why do you think that? Or, you know, I want to find out. And an awful lot of times, I reverse it. You know, I think you're right. You know, I apologize, but to me it looked like you were doing this, and he was saying he was doing that. You have to be a little looser as a coach. Don't get into this hard as rock stance, because you're probably perceiving what you see based on what you want to see. And that can be dangerous. That can be a problem in relationships. Allow yourself in practice to allow players to have a natural play. Don't, even if it looks wrong to you, but for that player it's very natural. Allow them the opportunity for that. Now, if it is something that disrupts the team, then you have to correct it. If it disrupts team play, then you have to correct it. If the player is not, does not understand the correction, that's something you have to work out with him. And a good way is films. You know, many times I bring in film players to watch films. Murray's cheeks, for example, it's the only way he could learn. He did not understand me a lot of times when I corrected him or his teammates. I wasn't wrong that many times, but you see, his perception of it was different. So what we learned was we kind of had a mutual standoff. When he was puzzled or didn't understand why I had corrected it or changed it or said about it, he would simply wait and come into the office the next day and say, "Can we watch film?" I never turned him down because I knew he wanted me to get it straight for him. He wanted everything, he wanted clarity. And so we'd sit and watch film, and when it came to the place there, he would say, "Now, Coach," you know, and he'd ask the question. That's a great way to work together, and you can. So don't freeze a player out, because he has his perception of what went on and what was right and what was wrong. My feeling is be a little looser. Don't expect everything to be so perfect. You know, it's one thing to be meticulous in instruction and presentation, to try to get it as clear as possible. But when they start using it, then, you know, don't be too rigid, because that's where you're going to get in trouble in perception. And if you are not dead sure, then wait. Wait until you can see it again, or wait until you can see it on film. And then if it is the same on film as you saw it, then is the time to correct it. It's not going to be the end of the world if you don't get everything right away. And in a game, it's even more important. I mean, I've seen things and heard things and done things bordering on insanity in a game because of how you see it. But you can train yourself. I want to leave you with this. You can train yourself to see better and more honestly. One way is to do a lot of film work. That's one way. If you are grading plays, you're going to know right and wrong as long as you are honest and accurate. Pretty soon, you will see your perception will change of what's happening on the floor, and save you a lot of grief with your players, and a lot of grief for the players. They get confused. Wow, I thought I was doing it right. He said I'm doing it wrong. You don't want that doubt. Doubt's a killer. So this is a very important area of coaching. And I think think some people coach 35, 40 years and don't understand it. Took me that long to understand that what they're seeing is different than what I'm seeing. They're seeing it from their standpoint, I'm seeing it from my standpoint. I got a lot looser because of that. I got a lot easier on the corrections and waited longer to make sure that we were on the same wavelength. Well, that's it for today, and as usual, I'm very thankful that you're watching. It means a lot to me. You know, every day I say to myself, if we can just get one more coach to say, hey, this is my career. This is what I want. I want to take it as high as I can take it. I want to be a pro. That makes my day a very valuable one. Thank you. We'll see you next time.